ReefDudes is sponsored by Ecotech Marine and Bulk Reef Supply.
Today we're answering some of your questions from AskReefDudes. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. So today I want to catch up on some of the questions I've been getting with AskReefDudes. If you haven't seen that, reefdudes.com/ask. It's usually in the link of all my videos, and like either respond to an email or I'll make videos and answer them on the air. So you got anything you want to dig into, let me know. Starting off, we got one from Sonia. I just got corals and Radion XR15 blue. I have the SPS, LPS, soft corals. What light schedule would you recommend? So you got the blue, so you probably like the blue spectrum. A good all-arounder is going to be the AB+. If you do like a bit of the whiter side as well as the blues, then I would recommend trying out my schedule, which goes from AB+ to kind of a crispy white in the day, then back down to the more the bluies in the evening. And I will link that video up above in the corner, so definitely check that one out. But if you want just an all-rounder bluey spectrum, AB+ is very tried and true as well. Next up, a question from David. You were designing some 3D printed propellers for mixing Kalk for the Vast K2. Did they work out? They did work out. They're still working. I still have intentions of improving them. They do definitely work better than just the stock stir bar, but I still have a few other designs. I haven't got around to it yet. Having a baby slows that down, but it definitely is on my to-do list. Is there one for the K1? I don't have the K1 stir, so it's basically the same thing. The shaft, it would just be a slightly less diameter, so I'm sure with the dimensions could definitely make that. And I will definitely add that to the list for future for sure, David, so definitely remind me about that one later. Next up, we have Ben. Getting back in reefing, curious on what your thoughts on the best and most accurate salinity checker. I personally have been using the Hanna one for quite a while. It's hard to say if it's the most accurate, but it's definitely the most convenient. I do like the little digital pen. You can just poke it in, tells you results. I actually have two of them, and when I calibrate one, I just calibrate them both at the same time. Now, if you want most accurate, I would probably say the Tropic Marin hydrometer, which is the little bobber that goes in. You can scoop up some water in the case, put it in, and you never have to calibrate it. It's always set. So that's probably what I go for with most accurate if you need to double check or really want to dig into it. Next up, Jose. Hello, saw your video and have problems with the Wi-Fi on my WF04 dosing pump. Can't link it to my phone. So the one weird thing I've seen with a lot of these products, I think I had it on the Inkbird, and I think it might have had it on the WF04 dosing pump as well. For whatever reason, the first time you pair it, you need to have your location services enabled. I don't know why. It drives me nuts because I don't see why it should need that to pair with Wi-Fi, but I have seen some of these smart devices in reefing have that, where it's just a nightmare, won't connect. You enable location services or precise location for that couple minutes of pairing it, then it works. So I would try that, and if you're having issues, flip on location service a couple minutes, pair it, and after that you can turn it off again. So that's what I'd look at. Next question comes from Ashley. So she has a 36-gallon bow front tank in one room. The stand is currently sitting made for the tank. The weight is spread over 5 supporting feet. Each one in the center. The stand itself is about 50 pounds. You have a 10-gallon tank. So you're only about 36 plus 10 gallons, 46 plus the stand. That's not a lot of water. I wouldn't worry about that at all. It's about 8.5 pounds per gallon of salt water. And that 50 gallons, not an issue. 60 gallons is not an issue. I honestly wouldn't worry too much until you hit about 90 gallons and above. Then I'd put a little more consideration where you're placing it on a second floor. I mean, if you're in a basement, you're on concrete, you can go anywhere you want. When you're 100 gallons plus, I would want to put them near a load-bearing wall, which could be, usually it's the center of your house or the outside perimeter of your house. The other consideration, if you know which way the joists go inside of your house, if you're putting it on a way that spans multiples, you're going to have a lot more distribution as well. So a few things to take into account, but in your case, the 36-gallon, 10-gallon, you should be able to put that baby anywhere you want without issue. The next question comes from Jared. You have a coral in your 6-foot Peninsula tank. In one of the videos, you called a blue stag. It's between the Ballygreen Slimer and the goldenrod Anarchopora. Do you know the name of the blue stag? I must buy it. It's incredible. That is actually a tort. I know I call it a stag, but it's actually a tort, and that one is my Aggie tort. And it's a super cool one. You get lots of like green tones within it and really blue, and it's a really big, chunky, cool one, and it's awesome growth from it. So I've had that one for years. It's been bomb-proof coral, so definitely recommended. That's my Aggie tort. And our last question for today comes from Joseph. Curious, I'm still running XR15 G4 Pros, wondering if you see a big difference in SPS and other coral coloration now that you're running the newer models. So I would say 4 to Gen 6 is definitely a big jump. 5 to 6 is a lot smaller, but 4 to 6 is is a substantial upgrade. One of the main ones comes from just the new optic design, and it does have more color diodes, so you're going to have a better color rendition, and you'll see a little different colors enhanced and pop a bit more. But the Gen 4s were more hot spotty, where the Gen 6s, 5 and 6s, they spread the light out even further. So it takes that hot spot, spreads it out, you have a super duper even blanket of par. But the big thing is all that light that's spread out bounces off the glass, it comes back down into your sandbed and comes back up. So there's a lot less shading underneath the corals. So if you see some tanks, you'll see a lot of die-off at the base of the colonies. I have not had a single coral show any of that in my tank. And I do think that is because there's so much light spread and bounce back around. So that is one big thing. Color rendition wise, if you saw them side by side in the same tank, you could probably tell a difference. But if they weren't side by side, it'd be hard to tell. So I'm gonna say yes, but again, I don't think you would necessarily notice it unless you saw them side by side. I definitely do love my G6 Pros. I do think they're amazing lights. And honestly, the biggest thing you're gonna notice is just how even the par is and that extra spread. And just that bouncing off the light, getting rid of any of the shading spots. The one thing that still sounds on my mind, the ones over there, if you look underneath, since I upgraded to the G6s, they've been growing on the bottom of the rock. It just shows you how much more bounce and light spread you're getting from it. All right, guys, hopefully you guys learned something, you enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you got a question that you want answered, head over to reefdudes.com/ask, send it over, and I just might answer it on the air. Catch you guys in the next video.